and welcome to episode 7 of our Ripping the Rack podcast with Brian and Tim. I'm Tim, and the gentleman to my right is...
I'm Brian.
It doesn't matter what your name is. Just kidding. What's your name?
I think it's Brian, sir. Not sure. Apparently it doesn't matter. Thought I was the wrestling fan here, Rocky.
Rocky. Speaking of wrestling, before we get into anything, I watched Survivor Series, I think it was 96, and it had Rocky's rookie year when he won his Rocky Maivia.
Oh, when he debuted. That was his very first match in WWE at Madison Square Garden.
Yep, and he won.
He did. He was on the winning team, and
Yep.
people quickly turned on him because could you get more vanilla than his gimmick?
No, God,
when he came out with his turquoise blue streamers.
Anyway, Brian, how you doing?
I'm good, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing well. We're taping this on Saturday morning because it is Father's Day weekend, and we do have plans. So happy Father's Day to you, Brian.
Happy Father's Day to you, Tim.
Thank
Happy
you.
Father's Day to all our dads that are listening today.
Our dad that's listening.
Well, yeah, we do have one fan. He is
One.
our daddy.
We have one fan, so we appreciate you, one listener. And happy early birthday, Brian.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Brian-
35.
Brian, well, I was going to say 29, but that's okay. What's your plans for your birthday? Anything?
Kelly's working, so I have child duty.
That's a great birthday right there.
No, Tuesday I'm actually playing golf with Sean Hiller in the
Nice.
afternoon. We're going to go play Rockland. First
Nice.
time I've played Rockland this year, so.
Nice. Thanks for the invite.
You can come play
Nope,
too if you
too late.
Well, we're playing at 12:30 in the afternoon, Tim, on a Tuesday, and I know most people work at that time. And you just started a new job. I didn't think your boss would appreciate you taking, the afternoon off to go play golf.
They probably would not appreciate that, but it would be fun.
Yeah. Tim, who's our sponsor this week?
Our sponsor this week is the I don't know who it is. Hold on one second. It is the Portsmouth Bowl-O-Rama Family Fun Center in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
I believe they just reopened.
They did. Well, I assume so. They do a great job. So Portsmouth is cool because I have great memories from there growing up. That is where our international youth worlds were every November.
Mm-hmm.
So we went down for a weekend and spend the night. And
They still have that, correct?
They do. A lot less lanes. They took out a whole bunch of lanes. But that's okay. I think they have 20 lanes, and you have Shenanigans. That's their beer, wine, and food and whatnot.
Farva loves that place.
Farva loves it. Shenanigans. But they are located at 599 Lafayette Road, which is Route 1 in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Phone number of 603-436-0504, and you can find them online at www.bowlorama.com. Visit our friends down there. They're back open, and we want them all to do well.
The Maderos own that now, correct?
That is correct.
Andrew runs it.
I think so.
Mm.
Yep. And they got some okay workers.
Yeah, McGinty, really?
Well, we won't talk about him.
He eats all their pizza, probably. They probably don't make a dime off him.
Probably not. but I bet they have fun.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really what matters.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really have an agenda for today. Cause
We were supposed to put a Facebook post up and have you guys tell us what to talk about, but we missed that mark by a lot.
So we really need a marketing coordinator, and by marketing coordinator it means someone to do it free. And by free it means we're not going to pay you anything.
Pro bono, I believe is the term, Tim. Pro bono.
And I think if we had a marketing coordinator, I believe we could get our listenership up from 1 to maybe 3.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's what
We do have a couple great bot fans that love the show on YouTube.
Oh God, I love the bots. They're awesome.
What was that comment, Tim? They loved the show, thought it was great 5 minutes after it was posted.
Yep, yeah. So I posted the show at 7 in the morning on Tuesday, and by 7:05 we had a comment that said they loved our show, and I'm like, oh God, Russian bots. Don't they realize we're not?
We love your show, comrade.
We're not Donald
Comrade
Trump.
Tim.
I'm sorry, we're not making this political.
You know what we can talk about bowling-wise, Tim?
What?
This weekend was supposed to be the Mixed Worlds in Bangor. You were there last year in the finals. How'd that end, Tim?
Honestly, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I have PTSD from it. But
Okay.
no, actually, it was really that. I'll say it. That was. It's one of my favorite matches that I've had, because the team that we bowled, they're all good people, and I enjoy spending time with them, and it was just really.
It was definitely two teams that should have been there in the end.
I think so.
Other teams definitely could have been there as well. I mean, that's a great tournament with a lot of great caliber bowlers.
No, we're definitely the best.
The humility from you, Tim, is amazing.
It's Saturday. No, it. So, what was cool? What was I don't know. I've said it before, but I love good bowling. I love to watch good bowling, and the fact that you had a unfortunately, we had a 17-pin lead with 2 boxes left. But to see Davey, go.
Say, hold my beer and watch this.
Yeah, look, he made a great shot in the 9th, threw a hammer on it in the 10th. And Sean had a chance, and he did hit the shot. It didn't go in the 10th. That would have sealed it, but. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Davey. Sad for us because, obviously I want to win.
You've won it before, correct?
I have. 2008. Won it with Sarge, Morrison, myself.
Mark Smith?
Nope.
No?
Kim Smith. Kim. And, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on the second girl. Honestly, don't remember. Wow.
Oh, wow, Tim. Someone's going to be very grumpy with you.
They might be
I don't
grumpy,
know who it
but
is.
I just can't remember. I mean, it was 12 years ago, and I just don't.
How long's that tournament been going on? Do you know?
2005-ish, I think. So this would have been the 15th year. Really sad that it's not going on.
First time it was going to be 3 days, right? 3 days of bowling.
No, it was 3 days last year as well.
Oh, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you imagine yesterday? I don't know how hot it was for any of you guys yesterday, but here on the coast in Maine and Rockland, it seldom gets to be oppressively hot because the ocean's right there and it's great. Yesterday was a little much.
Oh, I was fine on the ocean.
Well, I mean, it was
not
still
on the ocean,
80-something degrees here on the coast.
That's okay.
But could you imagine you were supposed to bowl in Bangor yesterday in that heat?
Let's put it this way. So last year in Bangor, 200 plus people in the building.
I wasn't even bowling.
They had the air conditioners on high, and they had 2 massive fans going, and it was hot.
I was hot walking around, and I was only up there for my birthday to hang out.
And when I say hot, I mean it was hot.
How many shirts do you think, if you wanted to stay remotely comfortable and dry, how many shirts would you have needed?
On
that last year, when it was that hot?
On the one day, on Saturday,
yeah.
We'll call Saturday. Oh, at least 3.
Yeah, because yesterday would have been, I think, a 3-shirt day.
Yeah, and I got talking about that with my wife last night. I was like, could you imagine with that many people in that bowling alley? And again, the ACs were on, and they were on high, and they had those 2 massive fans going, and I couldn't imagine. And today's supposed to be worse than yesterday.
Yeah.
It was 90-something degrees in Bangor yesterday.
It was supposed to be 98 today in Bangor, and I think the dew point was about 60.
It's crazy. Oh man, that would have been. It wouldn't have been fun.
People would have been hoarding or hiding in the walk-in cooler, if anything.
I mean, it really
between boxes.
I shouldn't say it wouldn't have been. It would have been fun because we would all been together and we would have been having a good time and everything else. But it would have been so oppressively hot that it would have been miserable. You'd almost have to go outside to cool off where it was equally hot.
Right.
But it's sad because I was really looking forward to bowling this year. But we're not. And now
yet.
And now the Worlds are in jeopardy in November. They're already talking, making plans to figure out what they're going to do.
So what would happen there? Would we push it back later in the year, or just skip it?
If I had to guess, I think they would skip it. But I'm not a captain of a team, so I don't
It's
have
a
a say.
little easier now to reschedule, and the only reason I say that is you don't have the men's provincials in the spring in Canada anymore. That used to be a week.
Yeah,
So some of those guys would take 2 weeks off a year to bowl.
yeah. I actually got a little irritated when I found out that they were already talking about it because I'm like, guys, it's 5 or 6 months away. Like, we don't need to make a decision right now.
Right.
The biggest problem obviously is really on the Canadian side because the border's closed, so they can't get across. And if they open it up, they're talking about a mandatory 2-week quarantine when you get back.
Right, and you
that's-
can't take 3 weeks off from your job.
Not
a
unless-
week to bowl and then 2 other weeks to quarantine.
No, not unless you're independently wealthy.
Right, which I don't know if any of the people that bowl in that tournament are.
I'm not.
Truly, like, Bill
But-
Gates independently wealthy. Nobody is. But.
Nobody is, except for Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. Hey, so here's another topic I thought about. You're talking about worlds, men's worlds.
Yeah.
You and I had this discussion one time about bowling balls.
Yep.
And you and I thought of having 2 sets of 2 sixes and 2 sets of 2 sevens on the lanes, the same set for every team. Like,
So,
you would all use the same bowling balls.
Yeah, so it's a cool concept. For years, it's always been a bone of contention on my part that before the biggest tournament of the year, we don't inspect the bowling balls of the bowlers.
I also find it weird that of all the people that don't bowl in it and come watch, and all the seasoned bowlers that know their stuff, we can't find officials. I mean, I know we have foul lights, but shouldn't the biggest bowling tournament of the year have officials if your normal singles state tournaments have officials?
I'm all for it. I just find it. Here's my thing: is when I started bowling in the main pro tour before the first tournament.
I thought you were going to say before bowling was invented, but it wouldn't have surprised me.
That was a little bit before my time. Before the first tournament, you came in with your bowling balls. You weighed the bowling balls. You put them through the ring to make sure that they were round.
Mhm.
And then they were signed off, meaning those are the bowling balls you used. And if you used a different set, you had to weigh those, and you had to put them through the ring as well. So why is it that for something like that, you're going to make sure you have legal bowling balls, but yet for the biggest tournament of the year, the most prestigious tournament of the year, you're not going to ensure that everyone's got legal equipment?
But for the longest time, they made sure we couldn't wear shorts or jeans.
Well, yeah, because, had to look professional while you're drinking at 9 a.m. Sorry, I'm not against drinking. I just find it foolish, some of the things that they...
I am so glad about the shorts rule, though.
I am 100% on board with the shorts, as long as they're not athletic shorts.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with golf shorts. It's a little bit foolish that you can't wear cargos, but because I have golf shorts that are actually have the pockets on the side, but they are Under Armour golf shorts, but I can't wear those because they have the pockets on the side.
I know.
But getting back to the bowling ball thing, so Brian and I had this conversation, and we've had it a couple of times, that it would be cool. Now, it costs money, and I don't think you could, realistically do it, but it would be cool if, I proposed, what if every lane had 2 sets of 2 sixes and 2 sets of 2 sevens, and you had a set of, your EPCO Reactive U or your urethanes, and you had a set of, your Pro Rubbers and maybe a Paramount type thing. And that's what was on. Everybody had to use the same bowling balls.
Yeah.
I just think that would be cool.
I think it would eliminate any discussion of light bowling balls, heavy bowling balls, new bowling balls, old bowling balls.
A shaved down 5-pin ball that you see occasionally. Again, I'm not accusing anyone of using overweight bowling balls.
I'm just saying it's happened.
It has. I've seen people warm up with bowling balls that were 2.8s and 2.9s, and they're like, "Here, try this. This is an overweight ball, but look at how it reacts." And you throw it, and then they put it away. And if you can't see what I'm doing, I'm using the quotation marks
Of put it away.
of putting them away. We've all picked up bowling balls and just kind of sat back and went, "Really? Is that one legal?" But there's no recourse. So I don't know if anyone is listening from the World's Committee. Feel free to bring a digital scale in the ring.
I mean, if you wanted to make a committee for that purpose, I would do it if I could get up, or if I could get to the hotel early enough on a Sunday.
Yeah.
As people come in, be like, hey,
Check in is in the conference room, down there.
please bring any bowling balls you feel you are going to use this week.
You write them down. You write the size, the make, and the color down. And so there is a list.
Just like you have a team roster, you have a roster of bowling balls.
Yep. And you weigh them and you put them through. And there's no reason why you can't do it. Plus, you have Monday. You have the singles. If you're not bowling the singles,
weigh your bowling balls. If you're bowling the singles, what a great time to do both.
Yeah. Amazing concept. Because you don't start until 11 o'clock, so why not, if you get there early and get set up. I don't know. I find it foolish that we don't do that, and I'm sure our one or two listeners are going to give me shit for saying this, but it's the largest and most prestigious tournament we have in Candlepin Bowling. Why not make it that way?
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like that tournament needs to be televised. I feel like this is just another topic entirely, but I feel like us as the Candlepin community, me included, we kind of dropped the ball a little bit with this whole no live sports thing. We could have been mailing stuff to Nesson and TSN and
it was brought for someone, and I can't remember who right off the top of my head, and I apologize that I'm getting old and I just don't have the memory I used to, which is, I'm not old. I'm seasoned.
Like a Montreal steak.
Like a Montreal steak. Nice. Someone reached out to Nesson. They did.
Okay.
They reached out and it went nowhere. So.
And I understand. They have to get their crap together too at Nesson, because all of a sudden you now have no Red Sox and no Bruins to fill 24 hours of sports.
Yep. And it's the advertisers and it's the sponsorships and everything else, and I don't know. I miss, so living where we lived, we never saw the Channel 5 show. We didn't get it up here.
We had very few shows in Maine, really. You had Charlie's show.
You had Channel 10. You had the PBS show for years. That was taped down in the southern part of the state. Vacation Land for a while, and I think a couple other places.
Beacon once, wasn't it? Was it at Beacon?
I think so. That was the big one. Then Charlie had one for a while.
It was like Beat Charlie Milan or something like that, wasn't it?
Something like that. Like you qualified and then
you bowled a match, and then if you won, you bowled Charlie for like $100 or something.
Something like that.
And then there was Candlepin Action, the 1-7-10 show.
Yep.
That you gave your crown up once.
It was. I had to.
Well, I know they were taping the Weekend of the Worlds. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but.
And I even mentioned that to them, and they looked and they said sorry, and I said okay, well, someone else is bowling then. And then we had one down here on the Mid-Coast for a short term.
I actually remember that. It was King of the Hill. It was done at the downstairs part of Oakland Park Lanes, which used to be Rockland Family Bowling Center's lanes before they closed. Kenny Bickford ran it. It was through Adelphia, which was a cable company up here. and it was great. We had some guys come down from other places to qualify. Dave Vigu came down from Waterville, Augusta, and a lot of those Augusta bowlers came down and bowled in it. I know you didn't. I don't know why you never tried that. I don't know if it was during your time away or you just didn't care enough. I don't know. And I say that in the nicest way possible. No, because I know you. Like,
I didn't.
If it's not something that grabs you right off, you're not going to do it unless somebody tells you can't, which is what happened with the Augusta show. You just got sick of people asking you why you hadn't qualified yet, and then you decided to qualify and win.
Well, that was also back when I was a really douchebag on the lanes, and now I'm just a small douchebag on the lanes. I get tired of people constantly asking me why I didn't bowl.
I think the comment I remember that got you was someone asked, "What, were you scared of TV?"
Yeah, someone asked me that, and then someone made the comment that, and they didn't realize that I was actually coming out of the bathroom, and I was around the corner, and they were talking on the other side of the wall, and they were talking about it, and they said something like, I don't remember the exact comment, but they said, "Yeah, Material will never bowl anyway because he knows that he can't beat any of us up here." I mean, at the time, I was bowling out of there, and I was averaging 131, and the next person was a 121. So, you're right, I couldn't.
Winning.
So I said, okay. So I came and I qualified, and I think I qualified something like 680 something.
I believe you had the top spot in qualifying by at least 40 pins.
I just know I was like 680 something, and then first match was Timmy Pilot, and I don't know, I threw a double in the 10th, and
actually I remember that because Tim beat Dad.
Yes.
Dad was supposed to bowl you because Dad had qualified too.
And your dad had looked past Timmy.
I think so. Yeah. I think Dad was trying to get Jonesed up to bowl you, and
yeah. And so I beat Timmy, and then I beat Jeff Breton.
Yeah, who was the champ at that time? I think
so.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was fun. I mean, I enjoyed bowling on TV, but I never had the opportunities. I would have loved to have gone down and bowled on like the Channel 5, or tried, qualify for the Channel 5 show, or even for what was it, Candlepin Stars and Strikes?
Candlepin for Dollars, I think, was the show, because that's what I was just going to talk about. That was the first. There was Stars and Strikes, which was another show.
Yeah.
But I was talking about the one they tried to do. It was on the WB back in like 07, 08. Jason Sparks made it.
Yep.
And you had to qualify. So you had to do a 5-string qualifier at a regional house, which for us, unfortunately, was Vacation Land, and that was it.
Yeah.
So you had to go to Vacation Land in Bowl 5, and if you were in the top in that, then you had to go to the next qualifier, which I think was at Pilgrim.
Okay.
And you had to do another, like, all the people who had won their, like, regionals.
Yeah.
Had to qualify there, and that's where you got the latter part of the show.
Okay.
And I think something like that for the Channel 5 show, wasn't it? You had like two qualifying.
I believe you had, for Channel 5 was very similar. You had regional qualifying, and then you had your other I mean, it was a process to get on there. I mean, they definitely got the best bowlers.
Oh, they did.
There's no doubt about that. Channel 5, they had it down, and they had it right with the way they did it. Candlepin Stars and Strikes, which was I think it was out of Leda Lanes.
I believe it was Leda, yeah. That was the Mike Morin and show for a while. He did the commentary on that one for a while.
They did it right as well. They had a really good show.
And the 1-7-10 show was very popular for a long time up here in Maine.
Yeah.
Lots of people every Sunday would tune in. I made this show once. First time I ever went to qualify, I was 18. I went 6:15 and qualified.
Who'd you bowl?
I bowled Dave Glover in my first match.
You're a Canadian dad.
Yeah,
he's American, but he's your dad in Canada.
Right. I threw 125 and got stomped. He threw 156. That was my first experience on TV. I bowled probably one of the better strings that I could bowl at that time.
Yeah.
And got beat.
The thing with TV is what I found is there's two things. Is one, it's brighter.
The lights are hot
because you got the lights, and it is hot. But it's really kind of weird when you're bowling and they've got that was Colin, by the way.
Yeah, Colin's throwing his toys upstairs.
You've got you look to your right or your left, and the cameramen are in your line of vision. So I had a hard time. The first couple of boxes when I first made TV, which was the PBS show out of Vacation Land. I had a hard time. It probably took me about 4 or 5 boxes to get used to the fact that I had someone down the lane filming back at me.
Like watching you intently, too.
Yeah.
At least with the official, if they're down in the lane, they're looking at the lob line.
Yep.
Not you, but the cameraman is just literally that's his job.
It was a little, it took a little bit getting used to. But I was a heck of a lot younger back then too. I think I was like 20. First time I made the show, I think I was 22, 23, something like that.
I remember I had to leave a high school track meet my senior year to go be filmed on TV.
Nice.
We were down at Colby College. It was Bowdoin College, an indoor track meet. And what I loved about indoor track for me was I did 2 events. I threw the shot, and I ran the 4x1. We had our own relay of shot putters. We called it our tank relay. It was all the big dudes. We actually legitimately beat a team once, and we were never you would have thought we'd won gold in Sydney. We were jumping up and down that we beat somebody. But the shot put was the first event of the night at 5.
Yeah.
And the 4x1 was the last event of the night at 10:30. You didn't leave that. It was a 6-hour meet every Friday night.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I would throw, and then I had 5 hours to do nothing.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah. So when they were like, "Oh well, we have a meet that Saturday. You got to run the 4x1. You can't leave early." I'm like, "Nah, fam, I'm gone. Bye."
Nah, fam, I'm gone.
Pretty much.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed bowling on TV. It was it was humbling the first time. I just wasn't used to it. I bowled okay. I don't remember my total. It was decent. Nothing that would be, I certainly didn't embarrass myself, but it certainly took a little getting used to.
Yeah. It's different, especially if you're what amazes me is the guys who go qualify that don't they're not big tournament bowlers. Like they bowl league and they just think it will be fun and wow, they bowl good and made it.
Yeah.
And now they're up there and you're looking at them and they're not scared. And you're like, how are you not nervous? Like, you don't bowl tournaments, you just bowl a league.
But see, I still get a little nervous before a tournament. I don't care what it is. I still do.
Oh, no, I'm not saying I don't. But
it's, to me, it's not nerves. It's not nervous, I guess. It's excitement.
Right. It's you wondering, how good am I going to do today? I mean, let's face it, we've all thought we were going to bowl horrible based on warm-ups and bowl good, and vice versa.
I hate warming up good.
I hate throwing. I hate throwing strikes in warm-ups.
I don't like warming up good because then I'm like, oh, here we go, and then I have a shitty night.
I hate starting strings with a strike. I know that sounds really weird. I just don't like doing it.
Really?
None of them have really panned out well for me.
Because it usually works out pretty well.
I know, but I've just had, and maybe it's just because I'm terrible. But you throw a strike.
I wouldn't say you're terrible.
No, you throw a strike and then you punch, and then you have a 4-fill and a 6-box, and then you have another punch, and then all of a sudden you have a 1-mark 41 half.
Yeah. We've all done that. We've had what did I have last year? There was wasn't it like a 2-mark 38 or something like that?
It was impressive. I do and I said it last week. I remember you being 80 in the 9th and having a 110 because you threw a triple.
Nothing worse than throwing a triple in the last box to.
What if it's to win a match?
Well, that's fun. I can count on 2 fingers how many times I've thrown a triple in the last box to win a match.
I've never done that, but I can count. I've done it once. I threw a 4-bagger against Jason to win a match in the 9th and 10th.
Nice. Well, so yeah, you threw a triple in the 10th.
True. Okay. Stickler for details, you are.
Just saying, it's 3 strikes in a row in the 10th. No, it's what's really fun about throwing the triple in the 10th to win a string, especially in the league, is because people get really pissed at you.
My favorite is like when it's happening, watch the other team because you throw the first one and they're like, okay, yeah, it's closer now, okay. Then you throw the second one and they're like, oh, okay, well he still needs a good fill. He needs a good fill. Three's hard to do, and then like you can tell who, no matter who is throwing the ball, if it's remotely near the front one, you look at them and they're just like, oh no, we lost.
Yeah, yeah, and we've all been on both. I mean, look, we've all been on teams that are
Quicksand is dangerous.
There are, you know, can I go on record as saying I thought quicksand was going to be a hell of a lot more part of my life
Based on the cartoons I watched in movies as a kid.
based on growing up. I really thought quicksand was going to be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. That's all I'm doing is just saying.
You know, speaking of growing up and things like that, did you ever notice in all the Wile E. Coyote cartoons there isn't a gas station anywhere around where they are? I don't know if they only cover a small section of area, wherever that part of the desert is that the Roadrunner lives in, but...
I'm not going to lie, I'd never thought about it. So...
You think about it, it's a road. Like, there's a train. And the funny thing is, if you look at the train, it runs on the road. Because I was watching these with Colin the other day to see, like, how good are these or how bad are they? Because, you know, with everything going on right now and violence and cartoons and things like that, I'm like, okay, how bad are they? And
just get him down into your man cave so he can watch Grand Theft Auto 5
with the mods on,
with the mods on, and the God mode on,
and the no police
and
presence,
the no police presence, and everything is. You'll teach the kid all he needs to know.
I know, but getting to the point of what I was saying is the train that runs over Wile E. Coyote runs on the road, and there's no train track, and it goes through the tunnel. Like, there's no train. Like, I understand details probably weren't a big thing in a Wile E. Coyote cartoon, but...
Wow. Were you smoking before?
No, okay. Actually, I was watching my kid, Tim. Come on.
Well, was he smoking?
Tim.
Just kidding.
Not yet.
Was joking. God.
He prefers the gummies.
So speaking of gummies, and I almost snapped this morning as I realized that I've reached my dad mode is so I'm getting ready to come on over, and I'm like, oh, got to take my men's 1-a-day vitamins.
Kelly just bought those for me the other day.
And what makes me laugh is
they're gummy.
It's 1 a day, but you got to take two. So is it 2 a days or is it 1 a day?
No, it's a funny story. You should say that. She gets home from Walmart a couple days ago, and she goes, "Happy birthday! I got you something you're gonna need." And it's this big bottle of gummies, men's 1 a day.
Yep.
And I'm like, "Well, at least you didn't get me Centrum Silver, honey. Thank you."
I take my vitamins. I do.
I need to, because the way that
and my probiotic. Well, I haven't been taking my probiotics, but I will be.
No, the reason she did it is because I'm down like 90 pounds since Colin was born. And the way I'm doing it is through intermittent fasting. So I don't eat all that often, honestly.
Okay.
So, like, I need to get my vitamins somehow.
It's not a bad... Look, it's not a bad thing. I laugh because I used to eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And
now you're old.
And now I'm not quite elderly, but... Angie...
The guys on your Worlds team do call you Gramps.
Yeah, well, they're all 12.
Freshie's got to be at least 13. Freshie's the kid that never got carded for anything when he was younger.
Well, I mean, I do have Nate and TJ and Steve. They're at least 30.
I bowled with Latch. I think in his first Worlds, he bowled Vacation Land with us. Me and him and Penkel and Gene Gallagher were on that team.
Latcher? He's a good dude. He's a good dude. I like Steve. Oh, I don't like Nate, though, right now.
So, as you guys have probably
heard
us talk about...
Just kidding, Nate. I do like you.
We tend to watch bowling while we do this, and right now we're watching a Friday night Pro League match from this past year before they shut down, and it's Sunnyside and Riverwalk, and Mr. McGinty happens to be bowling Mr. Daly.
That is true. I don't know who wins, but someone does.
Yep. But that's, if you guys wonder what we do, we don't just sit here and make faces at each other, although it is fun sometimes.
We do sometimes. Or I try to play fart noises on the computer and try to mess up Brian, but...
Yeah. Anything else with bowling, Tim?
Oh, we talk whatever we want.
Yeah,
This is our show.
it is.
Damn it. This is our life.
This is
our
not a
show.
game. We should have DMX do our intro sometime.
Should we?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna contact him. I mean, he played a rap concert in Lewiston, Auburn, like a year ago, maybe.
Oh, that is true.
He
Yeah.
might be hard up for money. He can do the Rip and the Rack podcast
For free.
For free.
For free. Because that's how we roll.
Mm.
I don't know. What else do we want to talk about? What other thing? Anything
Are you
bowling-wise?
excited to start bowling? Oh, we are bowling next weekend.
Oh, actually, I am excited about that.
Yeah,
So,
Tim and I are bowling doubles. We should get Rip and the Rack podcast shirts.
We should. We should, actually. We're bowling. Bangor is having a handicap doubles tournament.
I'm the handicap.
Well, I was just going to say I'm Brian's handicap, but I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I haven't thrown a ball since March, so I'm hoping that I'm hoping I can get down to Oakland Park at some point this week and maybe throw like 3 strings just to see if I can.
Still remember how to
Still.
guide the ball towards remotely the middle.
Yeah, because that is the object of the game, is to get the ball where you want it to go.
I'm not good at that part of the game.
Occasionally, well, you've been good.
I have been.
You
I
have. Let's give yourself a little credit. I mean, you're not Tim Matero good, but
Who is besides you, Tim Matero?
that is true.
You are Tim effing Matero.
I am. It's okay. This is our podcast. You can say the word.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm actually excited to.
I'm excited to see who else is bowling. I don't know if they've released.
From my understanding, I know like Mark Smith is bowling, Mark Carrier.
Probably Kobe.
I assume
Mark's
Kobe. I know that. I know they filled it, so they went to a second shift.
Right. We have the morning shift.
Yes.
And we were actually talking about doing the podcast during the afternoon shift.
I
We may be live, well, not live next week, folks, but...
We got to figure it out because that is my son's birthday that day.
Ooh, yeah.
So
We can't keep you away from Jordan as much as he probably wants to.
I don't know as if he really cares. He may be out drinking, and he is over 21.
No, he's
folks.
playing
It's
golf.
Okay.
You know what he's doing. He's playing golf. He plays more golf. Like he was at Kibo this past week.
He was. He loved it.
He should. It's
He
a beautiful
loved,
course.
I love Kibo's a great course.
It's in Bar Harbor up
Yes.
here in Maine.
It is the second oldest course in the nation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Must have
And-
come over on the Mayflower.
I think it was just after. It was on the. I don't know what were the other boats.
There was only one pilgrim boat. You're thinking Columbus, where you
Oh,
had 3,
that's right.
Tim.
The Nina, the Pinta,
And the Santa
the
Maria
Santa
never made
Maria.
it home. Do you know that?
what?
Santa Maria never made it home.
No.
No, it crashed. So they only had 2 boats when they came back to Spain.
Thanks for the history lesson.
I am a history teacher.
I know. Well, you're not a history teacher,
Well, that's what my degree's in.
right? Because you should be a teacher, though. You'd be a good teacher.
Thank you. I contemplated the thought, but in the state of Maine, with the Maine learning results, you don't get to teach. You just tell the kids what the state wants them to know.
Well, that's okay.
No, I like to teach the way I want to teach and tell everybody about how much of a D-bag Columbus really was.
Frank Face just made a great shot, by the way.
It was pretty.
It was pretty. No, it's I am excited to. So getting back to the bowling portion real quick, I am excited to bowl next weekend. I think we'll have a good time.
I do too.
We'll
Be good to get back to it.
Yep, we're going to try to bring the equipment with us, and we'll either get up there early and do the podcast before, or we'll try to do it afterwards.
Wait, we have the morning shift. What time does that start?
11.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, never mind. We're fine then.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a 9 a.m. start. I'm like, we're not getting up there at 7 to do the podcast, dude. I'll be asleep.
No, if we get up there,
8:30.
I'll have to get permission from the wife and see see what's going on. I don't think she knows yet that I'm bowling. So.
Kelly and Colin are coming. Kelly's going to go see her friend who lives in the
nice.
Bangor area.
Okay.
So
I don't know what Angie's doing. I guess we'll find out.
Mm.
I'm sure she'll.
Your wife is a saint, by the way, to put up with you.
I know she is.
Dude, I don't know how many people saw your snap or Angie's snap the other night. Why did the mouse keep getting out of the cardboard box all the time for you? Like, you couldn't keep it in there?
So the funniest thing is, so I hear this squeaking. I'm like, oh, the cat's found a cat toy.
Kind of.
Because we've got like 800,000 pieces of cat toys in the house because we don't have grandkids yet. Come on, kids, get busy.
Especially you, Jordan.
You shut your pie hole. Jordan's not ready to be a dad. Anyway, so I hear the squeaking, and I'm like, what the is that squeaking? And Luna comes upstairs with Mookie trailing her, and I look, and I'm like, oh, got a mouse. Holy shit, he's got a mouse. Like, it was like, I thought it was a mouse toy at first, but then it started squeaking, and it was moving its legs, and I'm like, and Angie's like,
Angie freaked
out, and I'm
Did
just
she
like,
do the typical, like, cartoon woman in distress jump on the chair?
She jumped on the couch. And started snap. Now, I never saw these Snapchats.
Oh, God, they're hilarious.
So I never saw them. Unfortunately, I wanted to.
I can't figure out, like, it kept coming out of the cardboard box you had it in.
So what happened was, Luna ran around with it for a while, and then dropped it on the ground, and it started going in circles because I think its legs were broken. It was kind of sad.
It was, yeah.
But
I don't know why I'm laughing.
Because it was kind of funny, but it's sad. And so I'm looking for this box, and I find a box, and I go try to get it, and Mookie grabs the mouse before it can get it in the box and runs down into the basement. So I chase him down into the basement. He goes into Jordan's room. I go to grab him. He gets by me. He goes into the crawl space. I'm like, fuck that. I ain't going into the crawl space. My podcast, I can drop the F-bomb. And so I go back upstairs. I'm like, he went in the crawl space. I'm not, whatever. They can have a meal. Whatever. So he comes back out with it still in its mouth.
Because he's so proud. He's like, Daddy, look what I have.
Daddy, look what I got. And it's still squeaking. And so I get him to I grab Mookie by the scruff of the neck, and I get him to drop the mouse, and I grab the box, and I put the box over the mouse, and I go to close it, and Mookie just, like a king cobra, gets in there, grabs it with its claw. Yes, grabs it with a claw, pulls it out, and puts it in his mouth and runs off again. I'm like, what the hell just happened? So... Yeah, so long story made even longer because I'm a talker. Mookie and Luna come back out, come upstairs. I finally get it in.
Wait, we're talking about the mouse, right?
Yes, I finally get the mouse. Yes. Sex jokes are always fun when you're talking about mice, I finally get the mouse into the box, and... You're looking at me.
I'm just waiting.
It's a cardboard box, not the female box.
Okay. Continue.
It wasn't a hamster.
Continue before we get deleted from Spotify.
So, welcome to Dr. Ruth Westheimer's sex show. Sex talk with Brian and Tim.
So the mouse.
So the mouse. Finally, I get him in the box. What's in the box? And I ended up taking it outside and put it in. We have the woods and the long grass. It was still alive. I have no idea if it made
I bet an owl shortly thereafter found out.
Probably. Yeah. Nature took its course.
It was just funny to see those snaps and Angie just being the typical old cartoony wife that jumps up on the chair. It's like, give it away.
Well, she was on the phone.
Oh.
Talking to someone, I can't remember who.
Where did they go get cheesecake last night, by the way? Did they drive all the way to
No, McGinty, nice string buddy, 145.
Oh, nice.
Career string buddy.
Daly,
nice
97. Ooh.
Daly, you got your ass beat. Wow. Beat. Just saying.
Yeah. Rio, 121 for Rio.
Nice. Anyway, they went to Momo's in Ellsworth.
Ah, okay.
Apparently, it's a 24-hour cheesecake play. I don't know. I don't know. She wanted cheesecake, and a bunch of them went.
You know what they used to have in Ellsworth? They had a Fuddruckers.
They did.
And they got rid of it. It made me sad because that's on my way to camp.
How far is camp for you?
About 3 hours. It's in Machias. Well, technically, it's on the East Machias-Whiting line. Nice up on there in Gardner Lake.
Nice.
Nice spot.
Little drive.
A little bit, but it's worth it.
So that's my mouse story. What do you want to talk about? What else?
Sports are trying to start back up. But
You know what? I am done. I mean, DUN done with Major League Baseball right now.
you know, I see
I don't see either.
I see the players all like, we're ready. Tell us when and where. Well, no, you're not, because you still want to make $275 million a game. Dak Prescott is another one that makes me mad. Dak Prescott was offered 2 years and $32 million, I believe. And he said he couldn't feed his family on that. He could not support his family on that salary. You have your... You just have no way of thinking like a common person, apparently.
It just that's the problem right there is when you get guys like that. They're like, I can't feed my family on $32 million. Well, what the
What are they eating?
the hell
Gold?
what the hell are you eating them? Eating them? What are you eating them? Why? Why?
No,
are you
no,
eating
that was
them?
Mike Tyson. Remember when he was going to fight Lance Lewis? I eat his children.
Mike Tyson. I'm gonna eat his ear and then I'm gonna eat his babies.
I wonder if
and-
Evander Holyfield's really mad at Mike Tyson because he can't wear a mask. Because he doesn't have an ear to hold it up.
Donkey Kong. So I think we should take take the last 15 minutes or so and just see how many people we can offend.
No.
Okay.
No deal, Howie.
Bad. No deal.
No deal.
Okay. I thought
This
it was...
isn't the car ride up to Fredericton in that bowling
Oh,
tournament.
man, that was a fun car ride.
It was
Well,
interesting.
fun for me.
It was interesting.
Spend 2 hours on offensive, the worst offensive jokes. Was that?
Yeah, I think that was the gist
that
of
the-
the car
Oh my
ride
God.
from outside of Bangor to the Canadian border. Because when Tim and I go to Canada and we hit the Canadian border, I get out, I throw my keys to Tim, and I say, I don't want to see those again for a week.
And I drive. And then I try not to tip his truck over.
That's true. I still let him drive even after he did that.
Apparently, that's still a story we have to tell.
Well, we got time.
We
So we're going to the Dave Stewart bowling tournament a couple years ago, and this is how it starts. Tim and I work at Red Zone together, and we
Worked.
Worked.
Past tense.
Past. So we leave, and I'm like, all right, we got to go to Augusta. We're picking up Chris Merrill at the bowling alley. I go in. Mark's going to meet us there, and we will head to Fredericton. We get there. Chris is there. No Mark. All right. Well, he's getting gas. He said in Topsom. So we'll go. We went to McDonald's, and we got some food, and we waited. Mark texts me at McDonald's, and Mark goes, my truck's dead at the gas pump in Topsom.
I remember.
I went, well, we'll come get you. So down the highway we went, about 25 minutes. Got there, picked him up, and then turned right around, and off to Fredericton we went. On the way up, we're talking, and Tim gets this idea. He wants to tell offensive jokes. So he looks them up on his phone. So half the time we're laughing when we shouldn't be, and the other half of the time we're just wondering what Tim is going to say next.
There was no half the time. It was 3/4 of the time. There was uncontrolled laughing
Yeah.
because we're all going to hell,
So
and we all have dark humor.
So we get up to Fredericton. Everything goes fine. We're up there. We go to the hotel. We check into the Fredericton Inn.
It's
and Evan,
cold.
It is cold. I mean, there's cold, and then there's what it was this particular weekend. I believe it was -25 with the wind chill
It was
during the day.
cold.
So we check in. Evan and Penny are there too. Evan's bowling with us, and we go, let's go to Montana's and get something to eat.
Great place. By the way, great food at Montana's.
It is. So Tim pulls out, and in the front of the Fredericton Inn, you take a right to go towards the mall at
It's
Montana's.
a one-way road.
It is. Tim is looking at the oncoming traffic to make sure nothing is coming. As Tim goes to pull out, I look down and I see this giant snowbank that is pushed away from the sidewalk.
Hold on. No,
hold on.
that's the second part of the story.
Oh.
The first part of this is Brian's going, sidewalk, Tim, sidewalk.
And then as I say sidewalk the last time, I am now realizing my leg is on top of the dashboard and I'm looking down at Tim because my truck, I swear, was parallel to the road.
Not quite parallel.
It was definitely at your side of the truck may have almost been at a 90-degree angle with the road, and you were driving.
And we laughed. Oh my
laughed.
God. Tears.
I mean, almost to the point of like.
Almost to the point that I couldn't drive anymore.
Right. So
and,
we get.
And it's only a mile.
Yeah. We get to Montana's. I hop out of the truck. We're laughing. Evan is losing it, laughing so hard, getting out of his car.
Yeah, they were following us.
Mark goes to get out of the truck, and he can't open his door. We realize that has driven my running board up into the truck so much that Mark can't open the back door of my truck. Mind you, this truck at this time is about 2 years old, and I'm leasing it. So we go, like, I am all of a sudden realize that my truck's broke. We're going in to eat. Tim sits down and goes, "You want a beer, buddy?" So Tim and Mark go outside, and they, like, stomp my running board back down.
We got the running board back down, so you could
And it all worked out fine.
It did. So the last part of this story is I got nothing but shit for this.
I mean,
a lot of just.
We might have told the story to every team we bowled the next
might
day.
have. And we laughed every time.
Oh, yeah.
But come to find out, when we went to check out, because it was dark. It was
Yeah.
nighttime. You couldn't see. So when we went to check out, I walked over to the exit, and I looked, and I said, "You sons of bitches."
I mean, the snow they had pushed off the sidewalk was probably 2 feet.
Oh, no. That was a good 6 feet away from the sidewalk. A solid 6 feet.
So we'll go somewhere between 6 and 2.
It was away from the sidewalk to a point where I took a picture of it to prove that. Now, the best part is you can see where we went up and over.
Oh yeah,
you could see
dug in,
and I was 2 feet away from the sidewalk at that point. So Brian gave me unnecessary shit for something that was not my fault, but yet
it was the fault of the city of Fredericton.
But we can still laugh about it.
We can,
and
now for anybody else who's been to the Fredericton Inn, they probably have this same problem, or maybe they don't. And maybe I'm just weird. I get lost in that place.
It is.
It's a circle.
It's a big hotel.
It's huge.
But it's
huge.
It's huge. It's almost as big as my ego. And it is the weirdest setup ever. Now, you also want to throw in the fact that there was a youth hockey tournament going on in
and every room was full.
And it was just, and all you could hear was...
All Tim heard all night. And Tim is a light sleeper. That's all he heard. And kids up and down the hallway all night.
To a point where, didn't I go out at one point and just...
No, you called the front desk. You were the old guy.
I was the old guy.
You called it... Now, granted, you called it 11:30.
Right. And all I asked was just, hey, there's a bunch of kids running in the hall. Could we just not?
How bad did you feel for the people that had the non-bowling rooms in the hallway this year in Canada for Worlds when we had to have our meeting that night?
Oh.
They were so mad.
So mad.
There was literally 100 drunk men lining the hallway.
They were so mad. And I just looked and I said, hey.
Sorry, dude.
Sorry, but I can't control these guys.
Yeah.
It was, oh man, I felt bad. I also felt bad. There's a Fredericton Inn, the first year in Fredericton for the tournament back in '93.
Was this the hallway bowling?
The hallway bowling, and the ball went through the window.
Real bowling balls with beer cans, right?
I don't remember who threw the ball, but it bounced off the side, put a hole in the side, and then went up and went through the window. We scattered. we got out of there pretty quick.
We used to play hallway wiffle ball in college in the dorms.
Yep, I could see that. I could see that. Which dorm were you in?
I was in Knox on the 4th floor up on the hilltop.
Oh, okay. Jordan was in... Where was he in? Was he in
Andro, I think.
Andrew Scroggin?
Yeah, that's right next to Knox. So it's like Knox, and then you go down a little bit, and then there's Andro, and then Cumberland.
Okay.
And then out back is Oxford, and...
Yeah. That's UMaine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, UMO.
No.
I am calling it UMO.
Well, it's UMaine. It's the flagship campus.
UMO.
It doesn't need a city behind it.
It's UMO. Mm-hmm. It will always be UMO.
It's the greatest Hockey East school there is. I realize I just made some people really angry.
Nope. I can go with that because BC and BU suck. UNH is terrible.
How many national titles does UNH have?
Hold on, let me count. It's how many state elimination titles do I have?
None.
Okay.
You have that many?
Yeah.
And they have that many.
And they have that many.
Maine has 2.
Right. 2.
We got 2.
2.
How about you?
UNH has none.
All right, now that I got that out of my system.
Civ.
Is there better like fans than hockey, like college hockey fans?
Oh man, going to a college hockey, it's fun. Like it's just
going to live sporting events is fun. I do miss that.
I do, except for
the price.
The price. I can't afford to go to a Red Sox game anymore.
You know what bothers me, and I know this is a self-driven bad thing for me, and I'm trying to get rid of it, but can they make a seat at Fenway Park that fits a normal human being?
Dude, I'm 5'5" on my best day, and I'm 199.9 pounds, 201, and I barely fit in those seats.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
For me to go watch a Red Sox game, like, it has to be a really good game because nobody is comfortable around me.
They need a new stadium. Yes,
I love Fenway, but
I said it.
They need you know what they need
stadium.
to do? And it's going to suck. They need to cut, like, 5,000 seats out of that place.
You can't. You couldn't. You could not be financially viable cutting that many people out. It's already the second smallest stadium in the major leagues.
I understand that, but there comes a point in time when, I mean, at least they don't have the trough in the bathroom anymore.
Oh, that is true. That always
for those that are too young to realize, Fenway Park didn't always have actual bathrooms. For a long time, the urinal was a wooden trough you shared with like 50 other dudes.
Yeah, that was weird. It was like going to the bathroom at the races at Oxford Plains. I don't know if they still have them or not, but it was a trough. Used to freak me out.
It's like a union fair. Like I think like a country fair.
Yeah. It just I know Fenway Park is a National Historic Place. Great, keep it as it is, and let your colleges play there, and
let your high school have your state high school games
whatever.
there.
But you need a new stadium.
But you can't put it in Boston. There's no other location like Fenway because it's in the city.
They had a location in South Boston on the water.
Isn't that where the casino is now?
No, that's north.
Oh,
that's the north of Boston.
I don't understand Boston.
You don't understand north.
I just
and
know
south.
there's Southie, and like there's East Boston, and I don't know all the boroughs, I guess, of Boston.
So this would have been where
I know the North End has a lot of Italian food because I'm a fat kid.
Best Italian food. It is real Italian food.
I think it's really cool how the restaurants there still have like they can actually lift the front of the restaurant up, and you can eat outside.
Yeah, it's yeah. No, the North End has some fantastic true Italian restaurants.
Portland has great food now too. Portland's becoming one of those cities where the food's excellent.
Yeah. Speaking of Italian, have you ever been to Del Vino's in Belfast?
I haven't, but I've heard amazingly good things.
So good. Angie and I went there 2 weeks ago, I think.
I know I'll get flack for saying this, but I don't like Olive Garden. The reason I say that is pretty much everything at Olive Garden I can make at home.
Well, I mean I'm a picky eater, so for me it's pretty simple to do that. So,
That's my kid again.
Yeah,
stomping around up there. I'll tell him. I think we're just about out of time.
Out of time. Out of time.
Making your way.
Moments that make up the dog day.
Ooh, hey, we could do karaoke some week.
The often thousand days.
I think next week, Tim, we should do a live commentary of something. We could do a watch along. We could let the folks know what we're gonna watch. Well, let's watch a match, a candlepin match.
Yeah. Well, actually, we're going to be up in Bangor.
Oh, so we'll do some commentary about what we see. Maybe we'll do some interviews with some people.
I wish we had Bluetooth mics so we could walk.
Oh, that'd be so great.
Man, that'd be fun. 'Cause
I do have Amazon Prime. Maybe if we can find a cheap one.
Just don't tell Kelly. So anyway, that's our show for the week. We certainly appreciate our listener.
He is, or she is our number one fan.
Maybe bring a friend and we could have two. That would be cool.
Hey, there's a plenty. Come on in, the water's fine.
The water's fine. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I had to do it at least once.
At least once.
That's it. Appreciate you listening.
Yeah, next week will either be live commentary or we'll talk about the tournament.
Yeah. Be well. Be safe.
Be kind.
Be kind. Don't be stupid. What else can we say?
Thanks for listening.
Have a great week, everyone.